Hello, everyone. Good evening. We're going to let everyone join our session and then we will get things started here in about 30 seconds. But thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, we'll start here in just a few moments. Hello, good evening, everyone. We will get started here in just a few moments. We're still admitting some folks from the wait room. So if you'll just bear with us, we'll start here in just a few seconds. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our college readiness webinar here at Texas Tech University. My name is Rex Oliver, and I work in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I have just a few housekeeping notes before we begin tonight's session. First of all, you will know that we are here to staff and answer questions throughout tonight's presentation. At the bottom of your screen, you should be seeing a button that says Q&A at the very bottom. If you have any questions throughout tonight's presentation, please make sure to utilize the Q&A functionality to ask that question. We have disabled the chat feature, but we do welcome any and all questions again using that Q&A section of the screen. But I will turn things over to Lorena with our College Readiness Office and the Texas Success Initiative to start tonight's presentation. And thank you again for being here. Lorena?
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lorena Williams. I am the PSI program director with College Readiness. What we do is essentially support students as they make their transition into Texas Tech, whether that's a first year college student or a transfer student. We are kind of two sides of the same coin. You'll hear from a few different people today, but in College Readiness, what we try to do is really empower the student both academically and kind of also socially, in making, like I said, those transitions into Texas Tech systems and college in general. So Rex, if you'll go ahead and progress the slide. Okay, so as I said, this Texas Success Initiative, so TSI, some of you may be familiar with that. Some of you may have already taken a TSI test. But some things that we're going to hit on today is kind of misconceptions, misunderstandings that come along with the TSI test when you are sitting at a high school whose main focus may not be a TSI test. But here at Tech, we use it to kind of let us know a lot of things. So if you'll move to the next slide. So kind of the first misunderstanding that's a common misunderstanding is that TSI test is not a test that is optional. So if you go to any public university or public college in the state of Texas, you do have to have a TSI on file, even if you apply to test optional. So TSI is not an admittance test. Okay, TSI is simply a placement test and a diagnostic. It's diagnostic in nature. So what it does, it just helps us provide an idea of the support that you might need when you come to tech, whether that's literacy and math, or just literacy, or just math, or you know what, you're pretty strong in both of those things. Your support may not be needed in those two academically. So again, this test is not an admittance test. It is simply a placement test that's diagnostic in nature. So even if you applied test optional, send in those TSI scores. Those will not affect your admittance. They cannot affect your admittance legally. So we need those TSI tests on file to help us kind of build the best support for you as you come to Tech next fall. Rex, you can go ahead and head to the next one. So the other pretty common misconception that we hear, and if you guys have visited us this spring with either Tech Connect or Tech Select, or have just called up to the TSI office, this is probably the second biggest misconception or maybe misunderstanding that students come to Tech with is college prep and college bridge. Lots of high schools use college prep and college bridge as a college readiness indicator for high school purposes with their accountability. But Texas Tech University does not accept either one. This is not considered an exemption. Many public universities don't accept college bridge or college prep. Some local depending on who you have the agreement with, who your high school has the agreement with, will accept a prep or a bridge, but many universities will not accept it. So I would highly suggest if you're going to take some classes through community college or through your local JUCO, call them, reach out to their registrar's office, and see if they do accept those. Um, we get that pretty commonly, especially during RRO, is I didn't think I needed the TSI. My counselor said I didn't need it because I took prep or bridge. But just verify that that the university that you'll be attending does actually accept it. And again, Texas Tech does not. So if you're planning to have the exemption based off of that, you may want to call our office, and we can help you figure out what different exemptions you may have. Okay, so this is how can I talk to my students? So if we have any families here, or if you're attending as a student, this can simply say, how can I prepare to think about college readiness as I prepare to come to Texas Tech? So first thing you need to ask yourself is, do I know what TSI is? If you've been in a public high school, it's likely that you know what the TSI is. I would say a public high school in Texas. TSI is specific to Texas. Um, if you don't, reach out to our office. We can definitely help you figure out what is TSI and if you've taken it before, and who to ask to see if you have taken it. Uh, do I know what TSI measures and why it's important? So we briefly spoke about what TSI measures. What it measures is and I'm going to say in quotes, academic readiness. For both literacy and writing, so reading and writing, and mathematics. And it really drills in on different even parts of math, so geometry, trigonometry, algebra 2, basic algebra, and really kind of tells the the story of where your strengths and where your weaknesses are. And the part that why is it important? What it does is it helps us build a plan for support for you to have the highest level of effectiveness in the support that we're giving you. Um, Other things to kind of think about is, what are your goals? Do you have a math skill set? I really love the health field. I have the math skill that I need, or do I need to work on building that? I want to be a copyright when I grow up. Do you have the skill set? Do you have the writing that you need for those things? And if not, what tools can you start acquiring and start working towards to acquire those tools? The other thing to think about is, are you participating in any TSI exempt pathways? So military is one that if you are active or have served and you have a military exemption. Dual credit, so if you've taken any dual credit, so that's going to be college algebra, any literacy classes, any math classes. There is also some history classes that Texas Tech will accept for the writing. All that is decided on at the registrar's office, so even if you've taken some history, send those to us as soon as you can to see if you have any exempt pathways. Qualifying AP scores, those will come from the testing center. We don't actually know those. They kind of change every year, and in about mid to late June, they let us know what the qualifying AP score is that designates college readiness for each test. Qualifying ACT or SAT score. So when you took the test, it probably gave you a what we call a college readiness benchmark. And it told you if you were college ready, and then qualifying college credits. So again, that's going to be your dual credit, or if you took some local community college or JUCO or even university classes over the summer that weren't necessarily dual credit, they were just truly extra classes that you took outside of dual credit. Rex, you can go ahead and I think that actually, yeah. Okay, so if you have not taken the TSI, because you've not taken it, your school said you didn't have to, or um, your school doesn't offer the TSI, one thing you can do is this QR code will take you straight to our website, and it gives you kind of tips and tools and study material for the TSIA. If you have not taken the TSIA, you will have to take it before you start classes. Okay, so even if you haven't taken it before the RO, we will still let you register for classes. You will have a hold put on your account quickly after, but the test will need to be taken before you start those classes. That's our hope. So, in order to prepare for the TSI, we do have a website that'll help you with that. You can retake the TSI if you take it the first time. It's a very different feel from like STAR, ACT, SAT. The biggest thing that we hear always is the calculator. You cannot use a TI Inspire or any kind of graphing calculator. The calculator that is embedded in the test is the only one that's available. And it changes, but mostly it's either going to be a basic four function calculator, or if y'all are familiar with kind of the science calculators that you had in like fifth grade or eighth grade science test. So pretty basic square root if needed, but add, subtract, multiply, and divide, not inspires or insolves or anything functions like that. So that's the biggest thing that we hear pretty consistently. um, the cost of the TSI class, if when you take the TSI test, it shows that you are not college ready, and you do end up having to take a TSI course with us, please do not fear. Our entire department believes in building your strengths and building your skill sets so that you can be successful. This was one misconception from last summer that really caught me off guard is the cost of our TSI classes. There was some misinformation going on about what you have to pay for TSI classes here at Texas Tech. Currently, it's a basic flat fee of $50. So we tell you it's the best value that you'll get at Tech because you get an incredible support service with an incredible group of instructors who are highly specialized, care about you, and want to impact positively impact your grade for $50. So it's a great deal and a great support most of all. So the last thing is here is our TSI classes. If you need to take TSI classes, our whole goal again is to meet you where you are, to get to know you on a personal level, and the way we do that is having small classes as well. So when you come to Tech, you may have a very large entry level math class or 1301 with 100 students or 150 or maybe even 200 students. Our classes are 30 students or less to help make sure that we can meet every student and know exactly what support you need and when you need it. Thank you guys so much. If you've got anything more, please feel free to put it in the chat. We've got a great team of TSI, and we're fixing to meet the Raider Ready crew, and we'll be glad to help you.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Lorena, thank you so much for that information. That is absolutely so helpful. And you're absolutely correct. I think it's so important that, we try to prepare our students so that we are all set, ready to go by that first class day. If not, we work to get them there. Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Fonseca Williams, and I am the program director for our Raider Ready program. I'm appreciate the opportunity to visit with you to tell you a little bit about our course. Raider Ready is actually a course that is offered here at Texas Tech. So these are a few things we're going to talk about. Of course, what is our purpose in Raider Ready? And if you'll notice right off the bat, a lot of times our course is sometimes referred to as RRP. It's sometimes referred to as Raider Ready. It's sometimes referred to as Raider Ready program. So I just kind of want to make sure that we understand that all of those three references, basically we are Raider Ready 1100. And so we're going to talk about what is Raider Ready 1100, what our current students are saying about our Raider Ready 1100 course. And hopefully, again, if you have any questions, you can ask those in the chat and we can get those answered for you. And last but not least, I hope the last few slides you'll have the opportunity to meet our team so that if you maybe don't have or didn't quite get your question answered, you can always have the opportunity to reach out to us at a later time. All right. So again, what is Raider Ready? What is our Raider Ready program? So our purpose and our goal in this course, because it's an actual course that students can register for here at Texas Tech University, our purpose is to build a community. And probably our first goal is to help with that transition from high school or from the previous school that you're attending, and welcome you and get you started and ready to go to be a successful student here at Texas Tech. We also work towards making sure that you are having those social interactions, connecting to our amazing community, our amazing campus. But what we feel like is extremely important is making sure that you're aware of all of the resources that you have available to you as a student here at Texas Tech. We have some incredible resources at Texas Tech, and we want to ensure that you are not only aware of them, but you also use them and utilize them. So again, our Raider Ready program is a course. It's a 1 hour credit for students. And again, it focuses on that transition from high school or your previous school onto our campus. And so we'll move on to the next slide. All right, so if you would like, sometimes it may be helpful to take a little screenshot or a snapshot about our Raider Ready 1100 course. This is a first year seminar course, and this is just the basic class information. As I previously mentioned, you do earn 1 hour of credit. It is a 12-week course, and we meet once a week. So what are some of the benefits? Why would you want to register for our course? The purpose of this, again, with supporting you as a student, but typically we see our students typically can work towards earning that higher GPA. Every single week, we talk about the resources that are pertinent to you during that week. We encourage no homework, test, or assignments. So if I earn 1 hour for this course, well, where do my grades come from? And again, that's that next bullet point. The emphasis is attendance. We want to make sure that every week when you come, you have a place to come to so that you can ask those questions. You can ask, you can share with your community. You can share with the other students in your class the great things and sometimes maybe the not so great things going on. We definitely focus on that overall well-being of the student. We provide you and help you connect and communicate for any extra support that you may need. Because we want you to meet your fellow Red Raiders. We want you to meet other students, and whether that is through organizations, whether that's through meetups, whatever it may be. And again, what's most important is that this is a space where your student or you yourself, you feel comfortable coming to and you can ask those first year questions. So everything from, is this, can I park here? Is this the right place to park? Or where's the best food on campus? Or what, I'm having a few struggles in my chemistry class or my math class or my English class. Where can I get some help with that? And so those are the specifics that we really talk about throughout our course. We'll go to the next slide. All right, so what does that first year seminar course look like for our students? We have about 20 students per class. And so kind of to piggyback a little bit off of what Lorena shared about those TSI classes, we really focus on keeping those class sizes really, really small, anywhere from 20 to 25 students per class. We promote and build communities in a safe space to enhance that overall well-being, to make sure that we can provide the opportunities for our students to connect to our campus community. What I think is really, really helpful when we talk about where we purposely look to strategically accompany the student their first semester, we work to provide week by week what the student is possibly going to be experiencing that week. What does that look like for that week of the student? So maybe we can eliminate some of those, some of that not excitement, but maybe some of those nervous anticipations that we may have. For example, one of those weeks we focus on what our academic advising appointment will look like, how we need to prepare for that. We maybe look at making sure that we understand how to use the systems that our instructors in our other courses are asking us to utilize. So from this fall semester, I'd like to share that our students who took Rater Ready 1100 in the fall, they started off the spring 2025 semester with the following GPAs. So as you can see, we calculated everything from a 2.0, the 2.5 to 2.99, the 3.0 to 3.49. But as you can see, the students that completed Rater Ready in that fall 2024 semester, they began spring 2025. 40% of our students began that semester at a 3.5 and above. So I would like to think that for a lot of those students, the resources that we were able to provide for them. I know we have some incredible instructors that teach our courses. And so I would think that with that collaboration between our instructors and working to build those communities, that had something to do with these GPAs. Yeah, so we're pretty excited that we're able to share that information with you. We want to move on to the next slide. Okay, so what did our students this past fall say about Rater Ready 1100, our RP 1100? The community portion. I would tell my friends that it's a very easy credit because it is, as I previously mentioned, we encourage that there are no tests, really no assignments, no homework. So you get to interact with new people and learn about tech has to offer. You will also have an instructor that cares for you and how you are doing. Again, emphasizing that overall well-being of the student. The transitions. This class is extremely helpful as a new student and prepares you for what is expected from a student at Texas Tech. Alrighty, and of course, I mean, who doesn't appreciate it's an easy A and helps you transition from high school and living at home to college and living by yourself. Those social interactions, it is very helpful to hear others hear about their challenges and how they overcame them. It is also a fun environment to interact with new people. And then the campus resources. This class gave me resources and I will use throughout college. So not only do we hope that your student or you yourself as a student utilize those resources while you're in our course, but also this helps with your duration and your academic journey here at Texas Tech as well. All right. So what were the favorite parts? So again, from our students this past fall, having a class where I wasn't stressed out every day. We definitely encourage our students to ensure that this should definitely not be a class where you ever feel stress. Maybe you can bring those stresses and we can help eliminate maybe what some of those stresses would be, whether it's sharing some of the resources we have on campus, whether it's tutoring, whether it's getting some additional assistance through our Student Wellness Center. They also shared that they appreciated learning new study techniques that are helpful when adjusting from high school to college. The lessons, it's very apparent that the teachers care. The way the teacher really wanted to get to know you, she was very interactive and knew everyone's name. The small class sizes. So see, as you can see, those really go hand in hand. The small class sizes give the instructors the opportunity to learn everyone's name. And I liked having a small group to interact with every week. It made me feel like I wasn't as alone as I thought. There are a lot of students that attend Texas Tech, but we definitely want our students to ensure that they are not alone and that we want to help promote that social connectivity to our wonderful campus. All right, next slide. So how do I register for this class, right? Because as I keep mentioning, it's a 1 hour credit. So how do I register? Well, it's pretty simple, believe it or not. Rater Ready, we offer probably in about 40 to 50 classes in the fall semester. So what that means for you is that we offer the class on a Monday, at different times, on a Tuesday at different times, on a Wednesday at different times, and on Thursdays at different times. And so hopefully, between among all those options, then hopefully you can find one that fits in your schedule, that is most convenient for you. So again, how do you register for this class? Just let your advisor know that when you begin registering during Red Raider orientation, which is also referred to as RRO, um, that you want to sign up for a Raider Ready. And again, either they or the Raider Ready team can help you with that registration. And again, you can contact anyone from our Raider Ready team, and that contact information will be, I believe, on the next slide. And so at this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And then the next slide, Rex, if we want to get to that next slide. This is our team. So again, if you want to take a quick pic of this or a screenshot of this, please feel free to reach out to us. Typically, I would say by email is the best way to contact our team. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christy. And I'll vouch for the Raider Ready program. I have taught in that program for more years than what we're going to put on fingers. So I think that's a very worthwhile program. My name's Kathy Nutter. I am the Senior Director of University Advising. We are an academic advising office on campus that I thought maybe we could talk about a little bit. We have several different component parts of university advising. The two that most of you are going to be most familiar with, Explore Advising works with students who maybe don't know exactly what they want to study. You know, we have over 150 majors at Tech. Chances are there are a couple you haven't even thought about yet. So we help students find their best fit major. We also have our pre-professional health careers advising for students who are interested in nursing and medicine and dentistry, occupational therapy, physical therapy, any of those pre-health designations that come up later. And then we have for incoming students also, we have pre-law program. So if you know you want to go to law school, our pre-law program is perfect place to start with us. So Rex, next slide, please. What we're going to talk about today primarily is the Explore Advising component of university advising. Explore Advising works with lots of different incoming students. Many students apply to the College of Business, the Rawls College of Business at Tech, or the Whitaker College of Engineering. Those colleges and a few other majors on campus are what we call competitive majors. They have admission requirements above what is required for admission to the university. Very often that is a particular math class and a particular GPA, something of that nature. So when students apply to majors within those colleges or any of the other selective or competitive majors, and they don't meet those competitive admission requirements initially, then those students are admitted as Explore. And I've got a staff of 9 absolutely wonderful academic advisors who are specially trained and educated to help students explore majors and to meet the requirements necessary to declare those competitive majors or whatever major is the best fit. So we work with students. So if you applied to finance, but you were admitted as Explore, you'll be working with our office to take the classes necessary, and we'll get more into this, to meet the requirements for your major. And we'll talk more about that here in a moment. Sometimes transfer students have too many hours to be a pre-major, so a pre-nursing major. If you're coming in with more than 30 hours, chances are we're going to admit you as an Explore student instead of a pre-student because of a couple of state laws that require being in a declared major by a particular time of number of hours. Sorry about that. So if you applied as pre-law, if you applied as PPHC, pre-health, something, and you were admitted as Explore, that's why. And then other students are truly trying to figure out what they want to study. They know they want to go to college, but like I said, we have over 150 majors. Which one is the right fit? So we're going to help students explore those options and make those decisions. Next slide, please. So with the competitive majors, so let's say finance or electrical engineering, most students will meet those competitive requirements within 2 semesters. At the end of the second semester, students declare their major in what they want to study. And I mean, that's more than half of our students will do that by the end of their second semester, and over 70% are declaring somewhere in the middle of the third semester. So we don't have extra courses. We don't ask you to do extra classes. That's not what we're doing. Next slide. What we're doing is having you work through the core curriculum, that standard curriculum that every student has to finish in order to graduate from a public institution in the state of Texas. The core curriculum applies to multiple majors, which gives us some flexibility. So let's say you're interested initially in marketing and you were admitted into Explore. So we're going to help you explore what that marketing major looks like, but we're also going to explore other majors that are similar. So in that same umbrella category, for example, at Texas Tech, we divide advertising and marketing into 2 separate majors, and they're actually in separate colleges. But the core requirements are the same for both of them. It's the same math, it's the same English, it's the same history, it's the same creative arts. So we're going to help students explore while providing that safety net that you are taking classes that will apply to whatever major you decide on when you decide on it. Okay. So the core curriculum applies to multiple majors. If you are interested in electrical engineering, the science classes and the math classes are the same for physics, the same for a math major. All of that ties in together. So we're going to be looking at those. The core curriculum is very seldom major restricted. So we'll talk through all of those. Sometimes, especially with transfer students who are transferring in a high number of hours, we're going to look at a minor in order to fulfill the GPA and the credit hour requirements to get to a competitive major. Gives us options to ensure that you are a full-time minimum 12 credit hour student every semester. And typically, again, you're getting to the competitive major you're interested in within 1 or 2 semesters. Next slide. Okay, so that was a really quick and down and dirty explanation of what we do. So, okay, so I am looking at a couple of the questions in here. Current career choice. So, what we can talk about are the competitive majors. And if you look at our admissions website, those competitive majors are listed. So the question I had is the College of Arts and Sciences considered a competitive admission requirement? The college itself is not, but there are majors within the college, such as biology, that are. So, but we can definitely talk through that. You've got my contact information right here. You can email me directly at catherine.nutter@ttu.edu, or you can email our advising inbox, advising@ttu.edu. We'll answer your questions, and we're even happy to schedule a Teams meeting or a virtual meeting with you to answer any specific questions you have about what you're doing individually. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nutter, and thank you all so much for being here this evening. That will conclude tonight's virtual session for college readiness. Our team will stay on for a few extra minutes to answer any questions through the Q&A. So if you do have any lingering questions, please feel free to type those in for us and we can get those answered. But if no questions, once again, thank you so much for being here and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.